How's it going, everybody, and welcome back. Today we're going to do a little something to the Dodge. Might take a couple of days, but hopefully, it'll just make it look a little bit cooler. Obviously, it's another hood for it. It's in pretty good shape. It's not the nicer trim model, but I did spray it off with the pressure washer, and she's pretty nice. No rust other than just a little bit up here on the edge and whatnot, but it's not through, just some gnarled up edges. I did end up getting the emblem off of it. It's a newer hood, but you can see here it doesn't have the little, cutout area or whatever provision for the Dodge Ram hood emblem like mine does. And the Dodge script on the front of that other hood is a newer model. It doesn't have this kind of old school kind of look. I like this one, but just about ready to fall off. So my idea with this hood is just to sand it all down, paint it a satin black, fix the little dents and whatnot in it, satin black the whole thing, kind of give it that old Roadrunner look. Considering how bad the paint is on this truck, it's gotten way worse since I originally bought it. I didn't have any of this clear coat peeling when I originally bought the truck. I think that was like 10 years ago or something. I've had it for quite a while. But I think that the matte black hood will look pretty sweet on there. And then there's another project I'm going to try to do with this hood, and I'm going to save that for a later date. All right, well, I got this thing up on the stand. This stand is not the right stand to use for a hood because of this central support. I don't know if you can see in the reflection or not, but it will bend the hood. So I have to be super light on this other side so I don't put, dents or creases in the hood. Usually they don't have this thing on the body sports, but this is what I've got. You can see it's got, a little bit of a kind of a whammy in there, whatever, who knows. I think it'll be okay when I'm all done. I just can't push down on it really hard. It does have some really good stickers on it, as far as, everything. They're not all destroyed and peeling off, and it does say on there 5.9. So this did come off of a truck that did have a 5.9 in it, so it'll be cool to try to save those. I really only have to worry about the edges here. I don't have any hood insulation for it, but maybe that'll be something I'll get down the road. Not exactly sure. I do have another plan for a different hood on here, but you're going to have to wait and see what that's all about in another video. Well, I don't know how many of you guys have actually done any of your own paint work or not, but right now this is about as exciting as it gets. We're just going over the entire thing with gray Scotch-Brite. This is a finer Scotch-Brite than the red one. So we're just going to go through and Scotch-Brite the entire thing, give the new primer sealer a little bit of something to bite into, and essentially that's it. I did kind of convert this rust and seal it up using some Seal. Now, Seal, one of the questions I have with it is this is water-based. It does convert rust, but it'll also dissolve rust. Then it encapsulates it too. Then it does say it's sandable and paintable, but I'm not sure if they're just talking about water-based paints or not. A lot of automotive paints these days are apparently water-based. So I don't know if it's going to play nice with my actual solvent-based activated catalyzed paints. So we're just going to have to see. That's why I'm just doing it on that front lip. There isn't any more rust on the truck. The reason I know that this dissolves rust is there's a video earlier, way earlier, that I did when I got that Seal where there was a corner in the bed. I painted it with Seal and I just thought it had some surface rust in it. Well, it ate holes straight through the bed of that truck. Anywhere that there was a little bit of rust, just dissolved straight down through it. So, it'll go through rust until it hits bare metal. So hopefully it'll all be good. I'm going to leave just this front lip with it. There's no more Seal anywhere else on the hood, so I don't have to worry about it. But we're going to try it out and see if it'll react and it'll wrinkle up and bubble and all that. If it does that, it's no big deal. It's just primer and sealer. Right now, I'm going to go through and tape off these stickers because I do want to try to save them. They're in really nice shape. So go go over this whole hood with wax and grease remover, tape off the stickers, and then hopefully we'll be ready to shoot some primer on it. All right, I don't know if you'll be able to see very much. This is pinstriping. You can use it pretty well for taping off these edges because it stretches. Regular painter's tape doesn't leave a nice clean edge. That's the main issue with it. I did cover this in wax and grease remover, or wiped it down. Like I said, the main issue with using painter's tape is it doesn't stretch. So just like pinstriping stuff, if you want to watch, you can curve it pretty good and it'll leave a really super sharp edge. So I think worst case scenario here is I'm going to end up with a little tiny edge of orange, but I guess that's not the end of the world. Now you can go ahead and use your normal tape however you want to do it. Well, okay. This is my super sweet DeVilbiss I've had forever. I really like this gun a ton, but today we're going to try one of the Harbor Freight ones. People swear by these things. They say that they're the best thing around for the money. And today is the 4th of July. So, I know that this will be released after the 4th of July. But anyway, happy 4th of July. If you're outside of the U.S., just hope you're having a good day. Guess I need an end. Probably take it off the old Astro, the poor thing. Now this is an epoxy primer sealer. I'm a big fan of using epoxies. Some people don't. I think they're way more durable, way nicer. Here's another trick from back in the olden days. Right inside of this lip where it always collects paint. Poke a hole, and whenever you pour it out, it has a place to drain back into, and then the lid's edge seals it right back up. Man, look at how thick this stuff is. I'm going to have to reduce it pretty hardcore. Oh no! I was so focused on hitting my numbers. Spilled it all over. This stuff's too expensive. See how it's running in? Anyway, guess you get to see that. Four and a half. Spray down a little bit dry. Well, the water separator didn't catch anything at all, so there's no moisture in the air at all. It is a little bit dry, probably because I haven't painted much in 20 years, but you know, it'll be okay. Well, okay, now that it's actually outside in the sun and it's not in this super dark little building, I could see that I did miss a little bit. I don't know if you could tell on the camera, but you know, I didn't notice it, but it's not a big deal. The paint, the black paint will cover all of that stuff up. All of the bare metal spots are covered. It kind of took me a minute to get used to that gun, but overall, it painted pretty nice. So yeah, that's basically it. Everything looks pretty good. There was a lot of junk kind of jammed up in here. I've tried blowing this whole thing out with an air gun for it's just forever and hitting it with a vacuum, but there was just so much stuff caught up underneath here. You end up with some little tiny stuff kind of in here, but it's not a big deal. And then the Cora seal that I put down here, it didn't react at all with the primer, which is pretty nice. I didn't bother to sand anything here down where the Cora seal ran down or anything because I didn't want to put any pressure on the hood like I was saying, so I'll be able to flip it over and put it actually on the structure of the hood so I can work on the other side, and that'll support the weight of it and I don't have to worry about denting anything or whatever. So I'll deal with all of that then. But yeah, the epoxy primer, she's curing up pretty good. And that's basically it for today. Not a whole lot more I can do to it until it cures up, but it's going pretty quick, and it's really hot today, but it's also really humid, so we're just gonna have to see how it goes, and I'll go clean up my huge mess I made. It's getting a little late. It's probably 9 o'clock at night. We're gonna go ahead and spray a little bit of this. So one coat. This is Hot Rod Black Flat. So let's see how this stuff turns out. So let's get a new cup for this even. Then I'm going to try using this same gun again. I have scuffed the hood down all the way. So the hood's been scuffed. It's been paint prepped. Well, I didn't spill it all over like the last one. That's good. Already starting off better. And all my paint has drained down into the holes, like those little holes I told you to poke. So that's good. Damn it. There we go. Reduce it down to a manageable level. All right, well, not too bad for a first coat under the hood. I hosed it pretty hard. There is some kind of overspray areas, but that'll flatten out and you'll never see them really. So it'll flow. So give it time, and then we'll see how it looks. This is super humid out. There's still standing water outside. Not ideal painting conditions. Everything out here is super wet right now. It looks nice, but it's really super humid. Well, it's the next day. Just unloaded all the wood out of the rusty Ram, and our hood's looking good, feeling good. It's a little shinier than I'd like, but I don't think that the Roadrunners had satin black hoods. I think they were flat black, but anyway, it'll be nice. It's what we're gonna go with. It'll be easier to clean. I live on a dirt road, so, whatever. But yeah, super nice. Came out good. She looks nice. I've just got to flip it over, get some of these runs out from the Cora seal, do a little bit of dent repair, and then we'll go ahead and shoot that black too. I felt my shoulder pop. Pretty sure I scratched the paint too. Ow. Oof. Ah. That isn't good. Ah, that's not good at all. Alright, well, if we look down through here, see we've got some dents. Got one there. I didn't damage the hood at all. There's no like big whoopties in it or anything like that. The core seal, man, I did hurt my shoulder. I don't know what's the deal with that, but I'll sand this stuff down. Can't tell if this is a dent. It doesn't feel like it, just feels like the paint's cracked. But anyways, we're looking pretty good here. Just got that one big spot there. I thought I saw another dent somewhere, but I can't see it now. Oh, we got something going on here. That's kind of strange. Anyway, and then right here, looks like it got popped down and people started kind of knocking it up or something like that. All right, well, this is a good news, bad news situation. Good news is I found my super old school air file. Bad news is I'm pretty sure I legitimately hurt my shoulder, so that's going to slow things down. Hopefully it gets better. I don't know. Something happened. Anyway, we'll get to sanding this thing down. All right, well, I hope you guys get the idea of what's going on. The longboard and stuff will show you some low spots and some high spots. So it's kind of hard to see because of the color. But you can see some low spots right here. It's a little bit shinier as we go along. Obviously, you can see it in here. See, nice and matte finished. The camera doesn't like focusing on this stuff. But yeah, the longboard shows you what's going on with the hood or the body panel. So you can see anywhere that's shiny is a little low. So you just go along and do all of that. Looks like it's just a tad bit high right there. That'll be no big deal. But this corner did have some damage in it. So the longboard does show basically what's going on. Just take a little tiny skim coat on it. I'll do this other side. Now that longboard that I was using, the pneumatic one, wherever I put it, this thing is wretchedly ancient and it's not very good to begin with. What is this thing? Double piston straight line sander. It doesn't even actually have a name on it, but if I'm not mistaken, I think this is what Harbor Freight tools basically were before they were Harbor Freight tools, a long time ago. That was a Christmas present from one of my dad's friends to me when I was working on all my old chargers and stuff, so it still works just fine. One thing is if the panel is super shaky, like really there's not a lot of structure to it, that sander will cause the whole panel to start vibrating. I don't know if you saw it happening here. You don't want to push on that sander. You want to just barely let it glide over the top. And that's kind of it. So using this sander is kind of a blessing and a curse in a way. It does get your job done a lot faster, but also if you're not paying attention to it, it'll cause the panel to vibrate. So any low spot will then just start slapping up against the sandpaper and you'll totally lose what you're trying to gain. Anyhow, that's essentially it. We got stuff all over. Shoulder's still killing me. I'm gonna go along and sand down this whole hood, kind of see where the low spots are, get kind of an idea of what we're working with, and we'll go from there. So yeah, definitely something came across it right here. We got a low area. We got one of these coming down in here. It's low in this corner right there, right here. It's obviously high. Well, I don't know, I ground that down, but there is a kink right there. All right, so now that we've got outlines, we can, go in here with a Scotch-Brite pad or whatever, break the gloss down. You can't really get up underneath here or anything and tap it through because there's layers of steel. But I can scuff this so that the filler will have something to bite into, and I won't lose my place really because, I have a little bit of an outline. I don't want to just pull a whole skim full of filler over the top of this. It'd be wasteful and suck to sand it all down. But, now at least I've got something to go off of. So I'll just do that with the rest of the hood, and we'll go from there. There's a whole structure right underneath this, so there's no way to get underneath here and pop it back out. So we'll just have to fill it up the best we can. So it's pretty dented up and whatnot. In that area over there, you can see the silver and whatnot where the metal is. It's pretty low, so there's a lot going on up here. Again, I didn't really want to spend a ton of time on it, but I need to spray some primer down and get a lay of the land. It's too hard to see. I did have a bunch of guide code on it. I didn't bore you with all of that stuff, but the primer will help me kind of just see where the low spots are, high spots, and if I've got any bulges in the primer. The hood has got a lot of kind of compound curves to it. It's not flat. It looks flat, but it comes down like this. It comes down like that. There's a lot going on. It's not as easy as just a flat hood. So anyway, we'll know what's going on in a minute. I don't know what happened to the camera. I don't know if the heat shut it off or I don't know. Whatever. It doesn't matter. I'll show you what we got. It's still wet. It's curing up. Mostly I needed to get some primer on it because I couldn't see what was going on anymore. All of the different, shapes and reflections and colors and everything, I couldn't tell what was happening with this radius anymore. We got a nice factory one over here you can see, and then this one needs some work. A couple other little tiny spots. There's like a little tiny dent somewhere like right there. Over in here I noticed something. There's an area like right in here that needs to be sanded. I didn't really hit it with the super smoothest sandpaper. Little spot right in there needs to be gone over. But this area here with the big old whammy, other than some 80 grit scratches that I knew I had in there and this little spot that needs some addressing, overall I think it came out pretty good. It's relatively flat. There's a little shadow that needs to be worked on, but now I've got a nice heavy build of primer on it now, so I can go through and hit it with a nice, fine grit of sandpaper after it dries up, and then we'll go from there. All right, so there it is. Everything is sanded. It's been reprimed a couple of times. Should be good to go. I'm switching over to my DeVilbiss. I haven't used it in forever, so we're going to see how that goes. I usually save it for clear coat only, but we're going to give it a shot on this and see what it's like. I've only got 3 guns. The Astro is toast. The Harbor Freight one, which I'm not super happy with, and then my DeVilbiss, which was like $1,200 at the time, something like that. So we're gonna give it a shot, see what it's like. Hopefully it turns out good. All right, we're gonna run this at about 45 psi. I don't know. We're just gonna see what it's like. All right, so this is what we've got going on right now. It's got a little bit of striping on it because it's still wet right now. I did notice that we've got some primer showing through right here, which sucks. Come on, focus. Right there, so it will have to be painted again, so I'll wet sand it down. We got a little bit of fuzzies, one right up in there, some around in here, just various spots. But you can see, man, the glare from the sun is insane. I don't know if you can even tell, but no more body work. You can't see any of the spots that I did body work. We've got this corner right here. Corner looks good. I don't even know what the camera's picking up. The glare is insane. Here, looks good. Yeah. It actually, on the camera, it looks really grainy, but it's actually not. It's nice and smooth. But yeah, you can't tell where any of the body work was done. That's pretty nice. See it right across there. Everything looks good to go. Unfortunately, I missed that stinking spot here on the corner, so I've got to mix up some more paint. I don't even think I have enough paint left to do the hood again, which is a bummer. I've got the paint. Man, I might have enough, but it's going to be rough. Yeah, I don't know. Well, here we go. She's looking pretty good. You can see the mat starting to come through right here. Everything laid down nice. A couple little specks of dust, but I'm not going to worry about any of that because it's unavoidable. I had to open the door to get some air kind of moving through. See a slight haze on it because of the humidity outside right now. I did have to go out and buy an entire gallon because they were out of quarts, so that was $200 for that and the activator. Looks like we did get some water droplets in it, which is a super massively huge bummer. But I'm going to let it ride because, you know, whatevs. I mean, it is what it is out here. I've got 2 water separators on the line. They're both empty. I drained the tanks. Everything should be good. I don't know, whatever. So they didn't show up at first, but they're starting to kind of pop now. You can see another one right there. See it sitting on top, so I'm going to let it go. I did try to pull these out. Little edge of the paper towel. You peel off a little edge, and you just kind of barely hold it over the top of the drip. And then you let capillary action pull the drip out, but it does leave that mark. So being a satin finish paint, there's not a whole lot that I can do with that. I'll just have to wait for it to fully dry up and see how horrible it looks. Well, alrighty, it's been hours and hours now, and you know, the paint on it is cured up pretty good. It's nice. My water droplet spots, that's a major bummer. It's got some dirt and stuff that has fallen off the roof because as the wind blows and this place creaks and whatnot, all the dust and crap falls into it. I'm, you know, out in the middle of the country in a pole barn, so bugs have found their way into it in a couple of spots, which, you know, is a real bummer, but it is what it is. Again, this isn't even the hood that I really care about, so I'm just going to roll with it how it is. I don't believe that I can fix any of the spots because of, you know, this coating is unforgiving. There isn't a top coat clear to sand, you know, satin black. It looks different actually than it is on the camera, but there isn't any way to sand it and blend it. So it is what it is. If I wanted to fix any of this stuff, I'd have to repaint the entire hood again. I'm just not willing to do that for this hood right now. Anyway, we're going to go ahead and let it cure up. It's supposed to rain for the next 5 or 6 days, I think, something like that. So once it gets nice and dry, nice and hard, we'll go ahead and put it on the truck, and hopefully it looks good. Well, it's been a few days. Haven't been able to really get a lot done. We've had some crazy storms. I did have my buddy Rob come over and help me put the hood on the truck. So that's it. This is the hood. So, do you like it? I don't know. I'm kind of on the fence about it. So, I asked my buddy Rob, I'm like, what do you think about that? You know, I was trying to go for the old school Mopar look with the black hood, you know, and I don't know. I guess it kind of captures it somewhat. One thing I will say is it is super difficult to clean this and keep it clean. It like attracts dust like crazy. But anyhow, Rob's like, yeah, you know what it looks like? It looks like you just bought like a hood, like a new hood online, you know, and this is the black e-coat, you know, that they all come with. It looks like you just bought a new hood and stuck it on there, and it, you know, you didn't bother to paint it, you just stuck a hood on it. I'm like, you know what? That's exactly what it looks like. It doesn't look like I did anything but bought like a hood from like, you know, Sherman's or something and just stuck it on the car. So not really the vibe I was kind of hoping to go with on it, but what can you do? I do have a plan that can potentially save the hood. So we're gonna give it a shot and see. I don't know if it'll work or not. We're just gonna have to see what it turns out like. All right, well, you're precariously perched up on a stool, so if you fall, the camera breaks, so fingers crossed. I did kind of stick my emblem on the front. I polished it up. This is the one off the old hood, the nice script one. So I think that helps the hood too, but there's one more thing. Early 70s, maybe they did it in the 60s too, I don't know. They had a diagonal decal that would say 340 wedge, 426 Hemi, 440, whatever it was. So I designed one up last night, cut it out on my vinyl cutter, and we'll take a look at it and see what it looks like. Alrighty, well there we go. So it's the 360. There's the wedge. I made one in red and one in street Hemi orange, just to kind of see which one might look better. I'm kind of leaning towards the Hemi orange one, but 360 wedge. I think it'll look pretty cool. It might finish off the hood and kind of make it look like I didn't just, you know, slap on like a bare E-coat hood, which kind of irritates me now that I think about it, that I didn't foresee all of this to begin with, but whatever. So because the 340s and stuff, you know, they had the 4 and they had the spine of the 4, they could stick the wedge inside of that and made it really easy to, you know, incorporate into the design. Instead, I cut it out of the 0. So, you know, it should fit right in there. I don't know if you can see it right now or not, but the wedge part should just fit right in and kind of lock in. So it looks like one whole complete design. So we'll go ahead and attempt to put this big sticker on the hood. I don't know. Well, I guess we'll have to see. I haven't put big stickers on anything in a long time, so hopefully we don't ruin it, because that would suck. Anyway, let's get to it. I almost forgot. We gotta see how the stickers came out. Oh, we got a little bit chipped off. Bummer. All right, well there's one. Came out pretty good. A little chip right there. Probably touch that up. Overall, the edges are nice and sharp. And we got one up here. I was editing the video and I was like, oh man, I forgot to see how the stickers came out. So ran out here real quick. Hey, pretty cool. I mean, not perfect, but you know, not bad either. I don't know if you got a chance to see that. I might have had it out of frame a little bit, but overall, nice sharp edges. You can see a little bit of the orange, yellow, whatever, kind of right on the edge, but whatever. And then that little chip right up there in the corner. But overall, we got nice sharp corners and everything. Just like I was saying, I like that pinstriping tape. Real good. So yeah, got a little bit of delamination on the sticker right there, but overall, I mean, it looks cool. You know what I mean? Like factory hood, other than, man, look at how much dust it collects. This one's going to be a nightmare to keep clean. Anyway, cool. All right, well, the thunderstorms have blown over for a while. We're going to get a bunch of rain for the next few days, so finally got a chance to pull the truck out. We'll see it in the sun, or whatever there is of the sun. I'm curious to hear what you guys think of it. Should I left it alone? Do you like the way it looks now? I don't know. Let me know in the comments below. So there it is. I don't know. It's kind of growing on me, but the faded paint on the fenders and the cowl and stuff, I think are kind of killing the vibe, but I can't do anything about the paint on the rest of the truck until I get the sandblasting done underneath that rain gutter, the window sill or whatever you want to call it there, and then put in my new weather stripping and all that. So just haven't been able to do it with the weather this year, but I'll get to it. So I think once all the other paint is matched up on it, it'll look pretty good. As far as the emblem, I haven't really finished it up yet, so I didn't snap it in place, and I don't have my ram's head, hood emblem, hood ornament on it anymore. Kind of miss it, but I also don't miss worrying about getting it stolen. Those things are getting tough to come by and getting expensive, so I'm not too worried about it. Anyhow, what do you think? Does it have that old school Mopar flavor? Was the sticker a help? Does it look weird? I don't know. You guys let me know. It's kind of growing on me. Doesn't look so bad. At least it doesn't look like it just bought a hood off of the internet and threw it on the truck. That thing was a little bit of a bummer, but anyhow, if it didn't sound as good and drive as good as it does, I'd feel weird because I don't really go for the flashy stuff on vehicles unless it was a factory option. I don't like all the crazy stuff, but this truck drives and sounds good enough that it doesn't really seem out of place on it. So there it is. You guys can let me know in the comments below what you guys think of it. I don't think it turned out too bad. Other than that, it's starting to rain a little bit again. Doggone rainstorms here, so I'm going to go ahead and pull it in. Thanks a lot for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. I'll catch you on the next one.